WRSR, Owasso, Flint. The following program has been pre-recorded and is paid for by Discover Flint Township. The views expressed are those of Discover Flint Township and do not necessarily reflect the views of 103.9 The Fox or Krill Communications, Inc. Welcome to Discover Flint Township, a program showcasing our local community. Flint Township is ready for your next move. And now, your host, Flint Township Economic Enhancement Director, Tracey Tucker.
I'm Tracey Tucker, and this is Discover Flint Township, brought to you by the Flint Township Economic Development Authorities, HAP Financial Plus Credit Union, Shea Automotive Group, and 103.9 The Fox. This morning, we are speaking with my good friend, Bridget Hollingsworth-Stafford from HAP. How are you?
Good morning. Awesome. How about you?
I'm good.
Terrific.
Now, later in the show, we're going to have our guaranteed rate business spotlight is going to be Shawn Amidon of Elite Imaging. But right now, we're going to get started with Bridget to find out what's happening.
What's happening? Well, you know, it's October, Tracey, right?
Yes,
so,
it is.
Time is flying.
Oh, my gosh.
But October means it's time to start thinking about the annual enrollment period for Medicare. And HAP is here to help. So by now, I'm sure people are already getting their mailboxes flooded with flyers, their
sure
phone, and all over TV, you're seeing Medicare, Medicare, Medicare. Mm-hmm. So, well, I know not all of our listeners are Medicare eligible. Some are, and they certainly are in the position that they're helping their parents and other people make decisions around Medicare. So I thought it would make a lot of sense for us to talk about some of the things to think about during this period of time.
So Medicare has a yearly time period when people can actually enroll, right? And so that is in October.
That's correct. It starts officially on October 15th. It's called the annual enrollment period. Mm-hmm. And if you're in a Medicare plan, that's the time, kind of like back in the day when we called everything open enrollment. So when you're with your employer. So this is the time that you can make a change in the plan that you would like to have coverage under. And it would allow you as well to change plans if you'd like to do that, or to just change which benefit plan you're enrolled in with your current carrier.
Okay. All right. So now you're going to do the first checklist you're talking about is what?
Well, see, there are several different things that you should look at when you're reviewing your existing coverage, or whether you're considering moving to a new plan, or if it's your first time being eligible for Medicare, because you want to make sure that you choose a plan that's right for you.
Sure.
So some of the things that we want people to think about, you want to make note of the benefits and services that are really, really important to you, because that will help you determine the right plan. So for a lot of people, a large network is very important, and you certainly, one of the first things I recommend that anybody do is, for whatever plan you're considering, we hope it's HAP, but it may not be, and that's okay.
Right.
The first thing we want you to do is to make sure that your doctor is in the network of the plan that you choose. You'd be surprised.
That is super important to check before you make any changes. I am not a doctor.
Neither am I.
So I'm not in the network. But you want to make sure your doctor is.
Absolutely. That's your number one thing to consider. So once you've confirmed that your preferred doctor and the hospital system that you want to use,
that's the thing too. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't think about that. Is like, well, if I prefer a certain hospital to go to, I need to make sure that my insurance covers that hospital, right?
Exactly.
Because they don't all.
Right. That's correct. Okay. I mean, HAP has pretty much all of the providers in the greater Flint area for our purposes today. But something I think people are sometimes, they see a price tag, or they see some great offering from a plan, especially some of the nationals that do a lot of TV ads, and they don't really stop to think, but can I really use that plan? And so that's something we really want people to be sure of first. They also want to look at, does your plan offer additional benefits like comprehensive dental coverage, vision, or hearing? Those are things that aren't necessarily covered under Medicare itself. So that's why you see a lot of people choosing either a supplemental plan, or what HAP focuses on and specializes in are Medicare Advantage plans. And that's where the plan covers everything that Medicare covers, but it also goes a step further and provides a lot of things that Medicare doesn't cover, like dental or vision or hearing. Okay. Another thing that's very important to consider is, what is the prescription coverage for the plan that you're selecting? And does that plan also give you the option to cover over-the-counter medications? or things that you need around the house like Band-Aids or aspirin. And HAP plans do offer allowances for the most part where you can purchase these over-the-counter items.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
those are benefits you want to be sure that you're looking at. You want to look at whether your plan offers transportation services, whether you have coverage if you're out of the area, if you're traveling. You do want to be sure that your plan would cover you for that. And also if for certain diagnoses, if you've been in the hospital, when you're out of the hospital and home and recovering, some plans, including HAP, can provide meals for a certain period of time to kind of help make sure that you're, getting off to a good start in your recovery once you're back home.
Okay, so I don't know anything about Medicare, so I'm probably gonna sound like an idiot, but I'm gonna ask my questions anyway because maybe somebody else out there has the same question.
I'm sure they probably
So
do.
when you're talking about this and you're talking about Medicare coverage, is the Medicare plan, when you're talking about these coverages for the comprehensive, are these in addition to Medicare, or is this part of the Medicare plan?
Well, when you purchase a Medicare Advantage plan like those at HAP, we have a contract with the government to basically take over your Medicare. So Medicare cover, we deliver the services or help you to receive the services that are covered under Medicare.
Okay.
And they still are involved in that process. It's still Medicare. But we go on to add services that Medicare does not cover. Or we incorporate in most of our plans, we incorporate your pharmacy benefits, which is a separate Medicare Part D plan that most people would have to choose separately if they didn't choose a plan like the Medicare Advantage.
So if you have Medicare, because I know it has different parts. Mm-hmm. So let's say you have Medicare Part A, which I think is the basic health.
That's the hospital part.
Okay.
And Part B is your provider.
Okay. And then
services.
say you had Medicare Part D. Mm-hmm. Is that the prescription
that
services?
Covers prescriptions, correct.
So can you still add on these other benefits if you have something like that?
Well, with our plan, we incorporate all of those parts of Medicare and the additional benefits. So it does make it a little simpler because you have one card, one plan, one carrier, and one source of assistance. Our customer service team's available to help answer questions. And we also provide via our website, so at hap.org/events, you can find information about webinars that we have Medicare experts putting those together over the annual enrollment period, and you can learn more about it. Now,
and if you have parents that are elderly that you're trying to help them with stuff and get answers, and you have to go to 50 different places to get those answers, it's very difficult. So this makes it easier for not only your parents, but for you as well.
Absolutely. And so you could sit in, with them on one of these webinars, which again, you can sign up for. You don't have to be a member of HAP. Anybody can attend these. And really, they're designed to be educational and provide you a conduit if you do want to talk to one of our salespeople to actually enroll. Certainly, they can help you with that. But they're designed to really just be an educational opportunity. Yes. So do check out hap.org/events to see if some of those make sense for you. But you also want to look at whether your plan offers things like a fitness membership, whether it's a plan that's known to be responsive in customer service. And that's one of the ways that HAP shines. We have higher ratings than many of the other plans that are available in our area. So we've really taken extra steps to make sure that our members get the services that they need and they have the resources when they have questions or problems. So that's a huge consideration.
And the mail and telehealth.
Right. Telehealth is huge. As we've learned during the COVID-19 pandemic, oftentimes it's simple. If it's a relatively minor healthcare issue, it's very appropriate and certainly convenient to have that visit with your doctor via your phone, your tablet, your computer. And telehealth is definitely a covered benefit under all of our plans. And it's something that makes it a little easier if you're, again, not sure, it's not a super serious condition, but you need to have health care. And telehealth is an important benefit for you. And one thing I want to make real clear, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners are involved in the UAW retiree plans, the Medicare plans that are through the UAW. Right. I want to caution people that are on those plans, do not select another plan. Even if it's HAP, I don't want you to go to an individual plan, because if you're covered under the UAW Retiree Medical Benefit Trust, which thousands of folks in Flint are covered under that. If you leave that plan and select one of those that you see on TV or one of those national plans, you cannot go back to your UAW plan. So do not. That is probably one of my most important messages. Yeah. If you're already covered under the UAW plan and you're not with HAP, we'd love to have you consider choosing HAP for that. But do not take an individual plan if you're currently covered by that UAW retiree plan.
Yeah, you need to
stay
with
in that plan.
Oh, my goodness.
Very, very important.
Yeah, that's
important.
very important for people to know. I didn't know that. So, yeah, if you have that UAW plan, be very careful.
Yeah, I mean, you can choose. There are multiple carriers that are under that plan, but you need to make any changes or whatever with the UAW, not with a random plan that you see on TV.
Right.
Do not
so
sign
talk
up.
to your UAW reps to find out if you're wanting to make a change.
If you're in that plan, I have to say they do a really good job of communicating with members, and so they should have already received, and I know we've received at my household because we're covered under that plan. We've received information for 2022 already in the mail, but I know that it's just the avalanche is just beginning. This mail will come daily from all sorts of carriers all around the country. So I just want people to be careful and be aware. So the actual enrollment period begins October 15th, and it ends on December 7th. So you've got that window of time to evaluate your current plan. If you're not on that UAW plan we talked about, and you're just on a plan that you're paying for yourself, it is a great opportunity to look at plans. And again, HAP has plans that, believe it or not, cost you nothing to enroll in. You just need to sign up. So do investigate some of those options. You can call us. You can visit our website. That's hap.org/Medicare.
Perfect.
And you'll be able to get information on all the different plans that are available to you based on your zip code. There may be different plan offerings in different areas, but for the most part in the greater Flint area, you'll see a multiple options, starting again with a price tag of $0. All you need to do is sign up for that plan, and then it goes up depending on how you want your out-of-pocket costs to be. So obviously a lower premium plan, you might pay a little bit more in copays. And then if you have a higher premium plan, you might pay less when you actually use it. So that's the type of thing you want to look at. What do you do in a given year? Are you a real healthy person? You don't take a lot of medications. You have a couple of visits with your doctor. You might be fine with a lower plan where you would pay more if you use it, but pay less to have the coverage, versus someone who's got a lot of doctors, a lot of prescriptions, a lot of services that they use in a year. They're planning surgeries or other types of ongoing treatment. It might be worthwhile for them to purchase a plan that has a higher premium because you're going to pay less to actually use it. So those are the types of things that you want to think about during this time. You've got a window of opportunity to review what's available and look at the options. And we are here to help, again, not just to sell you HAP, but to help you understand Medicare and the things that you need to be thinking about.
Yeah, so that was a lot of information. And so if anybody wants to get more information, go to hap.org/Medicare. And I want to thank Bridget for coming in today. Our time went so quickly.
Tracey, it does. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yep. Have a great day.
You too.
Today, our business spotlight guest is Shawn Amidon from Elite Imaging. Did I get that right? Because I keep wanting to call it Business Solutions, but I know it's Elite Imaging. And every week we try to spotlight a Flint Township business. And you guys just moved here not too long ago. And so we wanted to get your information out there and talk a little bit about what Elite Imaging does. A lot of times people come into our township, they see a sign, they're like, what the heck? What is that? And they don't go online to look, even though you could, but nobody does that. So we thought, hey, let's start going to these businesses that people might have seen their sign, but the sign doesn't really describe what they do. And you're one of those. Because Elite Imaging, that brings up a lot of ideas of what it could be. So why don't you tell people what Elite Imaging does?
Well, thank you, Tracey. It's an interesting thing. Once you understand what we do, it's very descriptive and very accurate.
Right.
We handle the images within a business, whether it is through software or hardware or a combination of both, and we are the best at it. So we're Elite Imaging.
You're elite. I like it.
So yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. It's great to be back in Flint, to have office here on Miller Road. We really focus on bringing the best business solutions technologies to the small to medium-sized businesses, and we do it in a way that just kind of maximizes the return on investment. It's real easy, and it would be really quick to say that we're the cheapest no, we are elite quality, and we are at a very maximized return on investment.
Right. So you'll go into, say you go into a business and you look at what their printing needs are and what type of machinery they're using now, and you look at whether or not what they're doing is the most efficient and also the most cost, what do you want to say? That have the best return on investment with what they're doing. So that's what you're looking at when you go in, right?
Correct. So whether it's one device or an entire fleet of devices, scanners, printers, copiers, what we like to do is what are each of these devices being used for, how much are they being used, and make sure that the right configuration is there for the workflow and the right device for its needs. For example, if you go to the store and you buy a little inkjet printer for $100, and you're only using it for maybe 50 or 100 prints per month, that machine is probably the best unit for you.
Right.
However, if you try to use that machine to do 10,000 images, you're going to have to remortgage your house.
You know what? We had a problem like that one time at the township. We had bought a printer, and actually, I think it was our IT people were like, yeah, this is the printer you need, blah, blah, blah. And we had it, I don't know, 3 months. And could never get it to go right. The problem was we were using it too much. And so it kept having problems because we were using it in a way that it wasn't supposed to be used. And so I called the IT people and I said, look, this thing's been here a month and I've had you here 3 times. You either take this and get me something different, or I'm taking it out in the parking lot.
Right.
You're not going to like what happens to it. So they did. And then when I started talking to them about what the issue was, and see if somebody like you would have come in and I said, look, I have to, it doesn't happen all the time, but there are a couple of months a year when I have to print out 10,000 copies of something within a 2-day period. So when that has to happen, that printer has to be able to handle it. And also I want, LaserJet, or I want, this, or I want that, whatever the other things were. But the volume thing was the big thing for us. So if we had an issue like that, you would come in and tell us what type of machine would actually fit our needs,
correct.
Right?
And that's where I referred to over time the maximized return on investment, because when you get to certain key points in volume, the printing and the service behind it actually costs more than the machine.
Right.
So that's what I do. Is I will build the spreadsheet. I'll look at the numbers. I'll look at how much the overall real cost per copy every time you hit print on your entire fleet is, and right size it for this machine prints at this volume. So you need this price machine that costs this much per copy, and then we tie it into the features, because that's the thing that's sometimes missed is, well, what do I need it to accomplish? Because sometimes, and this is why I don't say we're the cheapest, our Kyocera device may be the most expensive device for that solution as a machine, but it's 0.0089 cents per page when you hit print.
Right.
Well, over 100,000 images, the cost of the machine never matters anymore. So that's where we come in.
Depending on what you're using it for. And that makes sense too, because like we bought a printer one time and it was like, oh, that printer is only like $100, $200, whatever it was. But then when you went to put in the ink and all that stuff, by the time you were done, every time you were putting in the ink for the colors and all that stuff, you were talking $400 or $500 a pop.
Exactly.
And I'm like, this ain't working out. We need to figure out something better here.
Well, here's a couple two of the next steps, because you don't think about your printer or copier until it's broken.
Right, exactly.
And also, what is sometimes not accounted for is the soft costs. You know, the amount of time that it takes to do systems and processes and reports and whatever.
Right.
So we have machines that'll help streamline that. We have software that'll help streamline that. But also the conversations I have, if I can tell you that it costs you this much per print every time you hit print, and I only build you that, like you don't have to worry about ordering toner. That's auto-replenished through our software. You don't have to worry about making service calls, because our fleet software is actually monitoring your device, and we will know.
So you'll work with them and then charge. Oh, that's a great idea. That's
the. Not that I want to put anybody out of work, but I'd like to reallocate their time to be more productive.
Right.
If you have somebody that searches on Amazon or whatever to order ink, no, we can make sure the price is right and do the auto replenishment for them. You don't have to worry about making service calls. Very, very often, our technician will know what's wrong and what part is wrong and bring it with them when they need to, and they'll be there in under 4 hours.
Yeah,
so those are the types of things, so that. Yes, we have prints and copiers, and they're great. We work with Kyocera as well as several other great brands for wide format, that type of thing. But fundamentally, our owner, Dave Snyder, he built this company because he wants to be of value. He wants to be of service. We want to help with the day-to-day operations of everything. And so, yes, there's devices here, but it's the people and the service team that he's hired to take care of the customers and take care of the people.
That's awesome.
That's what matters.
Well, I got to tell you a story about a copier, and it's not going to be something you wouldn't have done this. I went to look. We needed a new copier. This was years ago. Needed a new copier at the office, and there's so many, options and all this stuff on the copier. I said, look, I know who uses this copier. This has got to be a copier where they walk up to it, they press the button, and it makes a copy. They can't have to go to 10 different screens. They're like, okay, well, why don't you come down and you look at it? So I got another department head. We both went down. We were the main ones using the copier. So we go down, we look at the copiers. He's showing me these stuff. You have some like 10 different buttons to get to make a copy. I said, don't even show that to me. I'm telling you what I want. So then he says, okay, I want to see how long it takes to actually print after I hit it, because I'm very impatient. I mean, when I hit print, I want that paper shooting out like before I can walk around the computer. I guess I'm just very demanding on a printer, I guess. But anyway, so you hit copy, it comes out. And I hit the copy, and I hit 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. I counted it. Right. He takes me to another one, and I hit the button. I'm like, wow, that one is faster. And he's like, oh, no, it's not. It just seems that way. And I'm like, well, I just timed it and it's faster. And he's like, well, it's just an illusion. I'm like, seriously, dude, I hit the button and this one was done in 5 seconds. The other one was done in 8. I said, that's not an optical illusion. It's called time. So, but we ended up buying the one that was faster. But it was just kind of one of those things like, well, the specs say. Well, the spec doesn't mean diddly, because and the whole reason I did that was because we had bought a printer a couple years before at the township, and when we got it in there, I swear to God, you had to hit like 5 buttons to get the dang thing to print. And then once it printed, you could walk out of the room, walk back, go do something, and come back and it would just then be printing. So it just had processing time, just took a long time. So I told them, and everybody would come back and use the printer in my department because they couldn't stand using theirs. And I'm like, wait a minute, now you're using a Bubba toner. So anyway, but I'm sure you get stories like that all the time, don't you?
There's so many war stories like that, and that's some of the things that we've taken into consideration here at Elite, because Dave in our headquarters in Troy has built a beautiful demo room where we can do exactly that.
Awesome.
You can test out our large copiers. You can test out our wide format machines. We can talk about all the different variety of images that happen, whether it's posters or stickers or whatever. And that's why the name is more inclusive than it feels like it might need to be. Because we cover all those things.
Awesome. So you have basically you'll go in, you talk to somebody. And now you're telling me you have the showroom too. So that's cool because not everybody has that when they're coming in and they're talking to you about the printers. So I'm glad to hear that because if we ever do anything at the township again, we can have you do that with us. So you come in, they say, look, we've got 10 printers. We need, we have 25 people. We have 10 printers. We need to figure out how so-and-so can share, and these ones need this. But we also need a printer that will do all the collating and color copies. So we need at least one big printer. So you would go in, look at the jobs that each person does when it comes to printing, kind of figure out what type of printers they need, each one of them, if they even need single ones at each desk or if they need just the one big one, right?
Right.
But you kind of figure that out for them.
Well,
or work with them to figure it out.
I appreciate the opportunity for the plug. So my free discovery meetings will encompass having that type of discussion, and we'll sit down and as much information as I'm able to be given empowers me to give a better, clearer picture of what the solution is. Right. So yes, you can give me a list of, here's 20 devices, what's your best price on that? Or you can be a list of, here's 20 devices, this is the volume I'm printing at, this is what I'm currently paying for my toner. I calculate it out, and I can show you in apples to apples, this is what the real cost per image is for what you're doing. This is how I can get you probably net neutral and add service and support and all the things to it. But the third step is if I'm allowed to go in and talk to department heads or even the people who are doing the task and find out what they're doing, I may be able to find software solutions that streamline their jobs, make it so they print less, and are happier with the overall experience. And we do follow-up reviews every 90 days.
Well, and you work with other companies, too, to help them if they have other issues while you're in there talking about that they can get solutions as well, right? So you have some partnerships?
Yeah, with some personal networking opportunities with companies that we work with that are very close partners with Elite and Kyocera. We will make sure that when I walk in, I want to make sure that I have a solution for you. And maybe my solution isn't the one that you need today, but I don't want to just say, I'm going to see you in 3 years.
Right.
No, what can I do to help? I'm here. I'm here. You're part of my community.
Right.
Who do I know that can help you?
Right.
Let's talk about that, and then we'll build from there.
So you can kind of give them overall help. So let's give out your information where people can get a hold of you. What's the best way to get a hold of Elite Imaging? Is there a website?
There is a website.
Okay.
It's really easy but really long.
Go ahead.
EliteImagingSystems.com.
Okay. Awesome. And how do they get a hold of you?
They can call me. My direct line is 810-498-3954.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in. And I would like to remind our listeners, if you have any questions or comments on the show, give us an email at discoverflinttownship@gmail.com or visit us on Facebook at Flint Township Events. Our YouTube channel and Anchor podcast channel are Discover Flint Township, as well as our website is discoverflinttownship.com. Or you can visit the Township's website at flinttownship.org. And thanks to our guests today, thanks to our partners, HAP, Shea Automotive Group, Financial Plus Credit Union, and 103.9 The Facts. Discover Flint Township with us next Sunday at 7:30 a.m. right here on 103.9. I'm Tracey Tucker, the Flint Township Economic Enhancement Director, and I would like to remind everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, shop local, buy local, and discover Flint Township. Catch you later.
This has been Discover Flint Township with Tracey Tucker. For more information, visit discoverflinttownship.com. Flint Township is ready for your next move. The preceding program was pre-recorded and was paid for by Discover Flint Township. The views expressed are those of Discover Flint Township and do not necessarily reflect the views of 103.9 The Fox or Krill Communications, Inc.